definitely. I won't keep you long. Just want to dive into your life a little bit. Like I said, I saw your post on Instagram and it just truly inspired me. I'm not an actor or anything, just a host. I actually have a couple of friends who are actors or aspiring to be in things like that. And so definitely kind of close to it, but don't know too much about it. But yeah, but Adrianna, thank you so much for joining me here. If you could tell the people your name, who you are, where you're from, and we can fire away.
Word. Okay. My name is Adrianna Mitchell. I'm born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia. So I'm a Southern peach and Southern Georgia peach. Where am I from? What else did you ask me? My name?
Yep, your name, where you're from. Well, listen, I'm gonna just tell you now, I'm a Scorpio. A lot of people don't like us.
I'm on the cusp of Scorpio. I'm on the 22nd. So I'm a Sagittarius Scorpio.
Oh, man. Oh, man. I was
old Sagittarius right over here.
Oh, man. So, yeah, just leaving me out here in the dry. That's crazy. I was born the 13th of November. So.
Okay.
Yep.
But November 22nd over here. So we're close.
Yeah, we're close, but not the same. I'm not even into the whole horoscope, whatever it is, the horoscopes. People live off those things.
Some people do, yes. I'm still learning about all of it, but I know I'm I know I'm a whole fire sign. I do know that.
But no, you're a woman who wears many hats. You're not just an actress. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yes, I've always wanted to be an actor since I was like 8 years old. My dad took me to see Star Wars when it came out in 97 and my mind was blown. So that's like obviously primarily what I do and I'm blessed and grateful to do. But I'm also a burgeoning closeted writer. I write poetry, which I haven't shared in a long time, but I'm thinking about transitioning into being more open with my poetry again. Screenwriting, I feel like my experience in acting, I'm a writer who hasn't completed anything yet, but that's changing this year on my vision board. I have 3 projects complete. So check back with me at the end of 2021 and see how
I definitely will. I'm holding you to it. I'm holding you to that.
So hold me to it. I just said it out loud so the people could hear. They may not be good. I told myself they don't have to be good because I think the perfectionist in my head keeps me from writing. But when I was a child, I was always writing and creating and doing these things. And I think we become adults and have bills to pay and things to do and we get stuck in perfectionism. So I'm trying to release that in 2021. I'm also a director. I'm currently directing a pilot episode of a show that literally was inspired by the pandemic. There's a young Black woman named Victoria, and she wrote about her experience dating and working via Zoom and being locked up in her room for a year. And so we're shooting the pilot and then hopefully gonna get more money and do stuff. So I'm co-directing that. And I've directed a one-woman show at the African American Arts and Culture Complex in San Francisco. It was called The Cricket Room. And so, yeah, I'm really trying to kind of hone a lot of my different skills. I think a lot of actors have to be multi-hyphenates to create opportunities when there aren't necessarily legit jobs coming at any given point. So yes, all those things, writing, directing, acting, producing, hopefully at some point. I feel myself to be a creator and I'm excited about building that forward,
Definitely. Yeah. And you mentioned the perfectionist. I feel like whether, working on TV or working, shows, directing, anything, I feel like that's just in our mind. We want to put the best work out there because like you said, those opportunities are few and far between. And especially something like acting. I mean, you could be in a gig one day and not see another gig for another year. So, so you want your best work because you want that role to be the big money maker. So that
absolutely, we would love that. We would love the dates to be rolled.
Right.
Come on. So yes.
But yeah. So are you currently in Atlanta right now, or are you in LA?
No. I'm based in New York. I've been in New York for about 3 years. After I graduated Spelman, I went to Spelman College. I'm a Spelmanite. After I graduated, okay, you go whole HBCU grad, where'd you go?
North Carolina A&T.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
HBCUs, yes. So
Yes.
after I graduated from Spelman, I rode China bus, packed up my bags, saved up like I think $3,000 and moved to New York when I was younger and had a struggle bus year and a half. And then from that point, I lived in New York and I was trying to get into graduate school. I wanted to go to NYU, Yale, Juilliard, all of these really wonderful training programs. So I realized that I wanted to have a career that I felt trained, because I had never really taken time to do conservatory training before. I did a little bit in school, but not really. And so I think kind of echoing this experience, trying to, my journey to Snowfall was similar to just getting trained. Like, it's really competitive just to get into school, and actors don't have to go to school. It was just something that I wanted to do. And I just got really close to all of these programs and like almost there and like getting called back. And it took me 3 years to get into school. And I landed at American Conservatory Theater, which is based out in San Francisco, where I spent 3 years. I lived in Oakland, really honed my craft. We do everything from like commedia to Shakespeare to a whole bunch of white playwrights I never want to do again to, you know what I mean? Like, we really get stretched out there. And I really am so grateful for that period, because that's something that I always wanted. And so I was out in the Bay Area for 3 years, and then I came back to New York to just like get this work. So been doing a lot of theater when theater was happening. And then when Snowfall came around, it was really kind of the first time like coming to LA and spending a great deal of time in LA was, God bless, was because of work. So yeah.
And you mentioned Snowfall, and I wanted to talk about that, but since it's here, talk about your journey with getting there. And if you first could, for those who don't know, Snowfall is a show that started back in 2017, and has basically recycled itself. I don't know the terminology for TV shows, but
it's into its fourth season. It's right. John Singleton's legacy. Like it's the show that's really about South Central and what happened to South Central in the 80s with the crack epidemic. Right. So it's really a historically important piece, because not a lot of people are talking about, we look at like where the Black community is in terms of the 90s and the 2000s. We're not looking at how we got here, and the 80s is a really important point. So that's why I personally admire the show. My journey to Snowfall, I sent a tape. Tanase was originally, I think, going to be she was going to be in season 3 at some point. Right. So I auditioned in 2019. At that time, I had no television experience, but I was super excited, and I sent a tape in. And self-taping for actors is like, you put all the lights and the things on in your room, and then you send the stuff into the ether, and you may hear nothing back. You know what I mean? So this one came back, and there was a lot of positive feedback. And so I got really attached to it, because I was like, oh, this could actually happen. I could fly to LA next week, and like, this could really be the thing. I'm so excited. And for whatever reason, it didn't work out, but I really felt like I made a strong impression, and I let it go, and, I was on to book other television gigs and to spend the year building my resume a little bit. So I got to work on NBC's pilot, The Lincoln Rhyme with Russell Hornsby. I got to do this anthology series called Little America, which each episode was like written from a different immigrant experience. So I did one of those on Apple TV. I did an episode of Blacklist. Everybody got to do their procedurals, like get those early credits. And then literally a year later, like almost not to the day, but it was nearly a year later, I got this email that they were looking for Tanase again. And I was like, huh. And they were like, if you've auditioned already, like it's okay. We know, but we want to see you again. Da, 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 da. And I said, what are the odds? And so I sent in a tape again. And then what ended up happening, best case scenario, I ended up being in the Florida Keys working on an episode of The Good Fight. And they called me back, and they wanted me to come in chemistry read with Damson Idris. And I couldn't, because I was in Florida. And I was like, what are the odds that they actually want me to come and meet Damson and actually do this? And I can't, because I'm working. And I said, working is a good problem. The reason to miss an audition because you're working is a good problem. So I was like, hopefully it'll still work out. I was stressed, Malik, I was stressed. And
I'm
then
stressed
they were
for
like,
you.
you know what, it's okay. They were like, just tape the side that you would have done if you came in. And I said, that's impossible. I mean, I'll do it, but I can't imagine that they're gonna meet people in person, have them come in and feel their energy and like that whole in-person experience. And then I'm gonna send a tape and that's gonna do it. But I did it, and I just had faith, I prayed, I sent it in. And then they were like, we're on a quick timeline. And then suddenly they were like, actually, we have time to see you in LA. Would you like to come? And I said, wait, you did a whole day of, I don't know who else, wonderful actresses who auditioned in person, and you still want to see me?
Whoa.
I was like, okay, God, I'm gonna go for the ride.
Let me shut up and listen.
Yeah, I'm gonna shut up and listen, and I'm gonna let you take the wheel. So I think a couple days after I got back from Florida, I left to go to LA to do the chemistry read, and I got to meet Damson, who's fabulous, and I got to meet Dave Andron, the showrunner, and some of the producers, and the episode one director, Kevin Bray, and we went in there and we just did it, and it was like, this is the part of me that like you know, in your mind you're like, oh, a producer session is gonna be so weird and strange, and it was just like people sit on the couch and they gave me a note and we would just do the scene different ways. And that takes me back to my, you know, all my years of training in like theater, where like we just rehearse it a different way, like try it this way, like you're prepared, be flexible, like boom, boom, boom. And then I left, I walked outside, it was a beautiful day, and I just had that little feeling. I was like, this feels like some place where I'll get to work. And like that little tingle, magical feeling you be feeling while God like winking at you or something. And I was like, I'm just gonna say a prayer right here, and I'm gonna leave it. And then Damson Idris came out, and he was like, you did a great job. And he tells me later, at the time, he knew that I had already booked it, but they didn't officially tell anybody that the next day. But he came out and he congratulated me, and I was like, that's nice. And then the next day, I was on my way back to New York, and I got the call that I was gonna get to play Tenose. So it was a lovely, fruitful like journey.
And I have to ask, did Damson come out with his British voice, or did he come out with his Compton voice?
Oh, no, yeah, he speaks in his normal dialect.
Okay.
His natural dialect when I met him. And then he obviously has a brilliant shift to playing this kid from South Central. And so he had his voice for Franklin for when we did the scenes. And then, but he's speaking as he normally does. So that was kind of cool and interesting to kind of experience that shift. But he feels so he's so comfortable playing Franklin that it doesn't feel, he's been doing it for years now. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So he's a wonderful scene partner, and I've learned a lot from him, and watching him, really take control of telling this story that centers him, and that's something that I think that I'm learning now is as I'm on set as a creator who hopes to direct, hopes to produce, just kind of seeing how a set runs and how a set that's efficient runs, and also coming with ideas. Like I ultimately will, resign to what the director would like me to do, but I'm coming in with like, this is how I saw the scene, right? Like, and just starting to kind of pick up like actors that I really respect have an idea of how the scene goes in their head, and they are open to what the director may want, but Dams and I will like talk briefly. Okay, I thought about the scene this way. Like you could do this, and then Like we'll have a whole plan in our head, and then we'll go to rehearsals, and then it may change. But it's just nice to be creative in that way and not wait for someone to kind of give you an idea of how it's gonna go.
And I take it that's how acting is in a whole. Like
yeah,
of television. So whatever you put out there, it's out there. Like it's no. You can come into a set thinking like, this is how I want to come off, but there's no multiple takes. And so with acting, how many takes are you guys doing until you get that right one?
It's so funny because I that's something that's really fun to experiment and learn, that like everybody has to get their coverage, right? So if you're not first, if the camera's not on you, that's the opportunity to kind of figure out your beats and like, oh, I found this, and I'm now reading with this person for the first time, or this table wasn't here when I was rehearsing at home. So now I'm like, maybe I'll link, you know? So you can find all those things. And then hopefully by the time the camera gets to you, you've found what you want to do. Sometimes, like last week, it was like 7 a.m. and the coverage was on me first. And I was like, and you just do it over and over again until, you know, sometimes it's to get a good take, but sometimes you've already got a great take and you want to get different flavors. Like I really enjoyed working with so many different directors over the course of the season who would give me a note and be like, I love what you did, but what happens if Tanase is this way, or Franklin does this, or, you know, like giving me a different take on the story that you could take in post and create something different. Cause that's really, you know, it's so collaborative. Like I have my ideas, the director obviously has their ideas, then you have the showrunner and their, you know, their final say over the show. And then you have what's edited together, and like, you know, it's so many different things that put the story together. I feel like there's the story that's written, the story that's directed, and then the story that's edited together that you actually see, and they're very different, you know?
Definitely. Wow. And yeah. Did you ever get to meet John Singleton?
I didn't. I just missed him. And that's like the unfortunate thing, but also like the blessing that I get to participate in what he left behind, you know, and to be around people who loved John and respected John and were deeply impacted by him. Funny story, Isaiah John, who plays Leon, and Gail Bean, who plays Wanda, and I all came from the same really small Black actor troupe in Atlanta. We were all really, really good. And we were getting really great training from teachers from New York and all that sort of stuff. And so there was supposed to be like a monologue slam that was planned that John was going to be the MC on. And so we all submitted our tapes for this, and I was selected, and a bunch of us from our tribe were selected to do this. And so I would have met him then back in 2000 and, oh, what happened? You still there?
Yep.
Oh, no worries. And I would have met him then back in 2013, but he got caught in like the Gulf of Mexico. I think he likes to sail or something like that. He got caught.
What?
And so we had to cancel the event. They were like, yeah, he's in the Gulf of Mexico. He's not going to make it. And I was like, is this a joke? And I was like, dang.
I went through all this.
I never met him.
This just to never meet him.
Never meet him. But then it was like,
it's funny how full circle, you know, now you're working on, you know, this major project that is so iconic. I mean, the reason I fell into Snowfall was one of my friends who's an aspiring actor. He was telling me, like, before the pandemic, he was like, you need to watch Snowfall. You need to watch Snowfall. Texting our group chat, y'all need to watch it. It's better than Power. It's better than all this other stuff.
Yes.
And so I was just like, you know, I just need to find time to sit down. And so a year later, I found some free time, actually about a month ago. And I just sat down and watched all the seasons. And it was right before season 4 finally dropped. And so by the time I got done with season 3, I was like scratching, like, oh, season 4, come on, I needed to come out. But yeah, this show is so iconic. I mean, it relates to so much. And it's one of those shows where it does such a great job of explaining things to where I didn't have to go like Google anything of like, what is this trying to depict? What is this? Like, it's straightforward and you can just understand it so well. It's a great storyline.
It's great writing. And I think it's just executed so well, right? Like, I think you can have a really great story and then it kind of gets lost in translation. And I don't think that happens with Snowfall. And I think that's really, what'd you say?
I said Lost in Hollywood.
Lost in Hollywood, exactly. And I think John really was like adamant about like, and I didn't experience what it was like to work with him on this before he passed, but I just could feel people's commitment to what was authentic, to what happened at that time. We have a couple like cultural consultants who knew John, who were from the neighborhood, who will come and just check you and be like, you wouldn't say it like that, you'd say it like this. And so it's like you have dramaturgs, which is like the same, like someone who researches everything about a play in theater. Their job is a dramaturg. It's almost like you have somebody on hand to remind you what would happen and what wouldn't. Like, oh, that's a very New York thing. They wouldn't say that. Like, I think I said yo one time. He was like, nah, cut that. And I was like, all right. You know? And it's like, no, you're in South Central. We wouldn't say that. And I was like, boom. So it's just like those little, and then also the costumes, like they have a lot of like period pieces that they pull. So there's a lot of like items that really help me feel like I'm working my way into a world that is from the 80s and South Central and all of that. And I think they really do a good job of executing authentically the story.
Yeah, y'all killed it. We'll keep killing it, you know. But I want to talk about you know, your specific role in Snowfall. Who is Adrianna in Snowfall?
Who is Adrianna? I play Tanase, who is an ex-lover of Franklin back in the day. So the idea is that she's a little bit older than him, and maybe when he was younger in his teens, she was maybe in her 20s, and they were just kicking it, you know? And it didn't really go anywhere, but then I think she kind of comes back in his life as he's kind of rising as this kingpin, and we kind of have to see how she fits, you know, because I think he obviously had a deep relationship with Melody, and
Lord,
also
he started on her.
You know what I mean? and also at a place now too where, you know, trust is scarce, you know, like truly scarce. So I think for her to be in a place where she can build trust with him is unique and marked and important. So that's all I can really say right now, because the season's still running. We'll see.
Oh, now,
I think
she's
from the neighborhood, you know what I mean? And she knows the game. So I think she's also like trying to figure her own stuff out, and hoping maybe Franklin can be helpful in that. Like, we'll see.
Definitely. And so just how much more could we see of you in season 4?
Oh, word. Yes. So episode 1 and 2 have already been out. So that's kind of where she gets introduced. Mm-hmm. I show up in episode 4, 6, 7, 8, and 9.
Whew. Whew.
So you got some more episodes to get to know her, because she's new. And I think I felt like on Black Twitter, they were like, who is this?
Yeah.
And I was like, no, just be patient. Like, I feel like they introduced me slowly. Relax.
Yeah, because when I saw you, I was like, it's just kind of random. But I don't know. I feel like, and this is just me guessing, I feel like you said, you're the older of you two. I feel like you're like the beauty and the brains, and just kind of keep him on the narrow, like keep him, you know, because Franklin
on the straight and narrow, like, you know, Franklin's going on a really kind of dangerous path, and maybe he just needs some grown woman energy in his life to help bring him together.
Other than his mom, because I feel like his mom is more of like a yes man right now. Like, she's just she
has her own goals that she wants to accomplish, and she needs him for those. Yeah.
Definitely. So yeah, that's just my guess. I feel like you're gonna be that grown woman in his life that just kind of like,
helps him.
Yeah, you know.
Mm-hmm. I like this theory. I can't say more, but I like the theory. Yeah, I mean, it's just been such a pleasure to like explore her arc, and explore the world of the show. And yeah, so we'll see. I'm excited to see, because I honestly, that's the crazy thing about doing a show like this, and is that I'm watching it with you. So when I see it next week is the first time I've seen it. So it's very nerve-wracking, where I'm like, I'm watching it as a viewer because I love the show, but I'm also like, I might pop up somewhere and like, you know.
What is that feeling like? I mean, you know, when you make a movie, like the whole cast, everybody kind of watches that movie in like a watch party before the world can see it. But with TV shows, I mean, I doubt you guys want to sit there for 10 hours watching one season, you know.
Exactly.
So, like,
I mean,
how does
it's so different. Yeah, I mean, I think in normal non-COVID times, Snowfall usually will have like a premiere party of some sort. So we may have even maybe seen the first couple of episodes. But I mean, we didn't have that because of the pandemic. So everybody kind of went back to where they live, and, you know, all that good stuff. So I'm literally just at home, like, I'm gonna watch it and we're gonna see. So that's really unique. And all of my experiences up to this point have been when the thing airs is the first time I've seen it. So I've kind of gotten used to it. I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna watch it by myself. I know other people are watching it, but I don't want people around me when I watch it because I gotta see it and like get comfortable. And then maybe have a watch party after. Because I'm neurotic and I'm just like, but yeah, so I'm excited to watch it because I love the show as an audience member, but then also kind of see how they make use of my character, you know? So
we're all excited to see. We're
so excited, yes.
But just kind of
tell me a little bit about you. I know
I was going to say we can get out of the whole, business world. Well, first I wanted to ask before we switch to me.
Yeah.
I see your dad is D9, Omega Psi.
Yes.
Okay. I'm not Omega, but I'm still 1911.
Okay, I feel it.
Kappa Alpha Psi.
Yes.
But, yeah, it's a lot of relation in there. But
absolutely, yes. My dad, my uncle are both Omega Psi. My great uncle, who's passed, my grandmother's brother, was Omega Psi. She was Sigma Gamma Rho. My grandma went to Morris Brown. My dad and my uncles went to Morehouse. I went to Spelman. Like we're like deep Atlanta.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I did not personally.
I was gonna say, did you not pledge?
I didn't. I have so much respect for it, but I was busy doing theater, and I was over there doing like the artsy fartsy stuff. I didn't have time. I was like, if I try to do this, I won't be able to be in the spring play. So it kind of missed me, but I feel like I have so much respect for Divine Nine, and I feel like I have that similar camaraderie in like the shows that I do and like theater, because you get so close so quickly because you spend so much time in the trenches trying to figure out how to do something, and then you're doing 8 shows a week. It's just like you end up getting really tight with people for like a short period of time and then dispersing, and so I kind of feel like I get that, what I would have hoped to experience if I had played.
And I'm like, I mean, even to this day, I mean, the people you meet on set, I'm sure some people
stay in touch.
You can gravitate, stay in touch, become friends, lifelong friends, or if it doesn't work out, then you just go a separate way. I mean, that's
absolutely. And also my dad's like his line brothers are like my uncles, or like my extended family. Like I go to a different city, he got somebody who can let me stay somewhere like that. That's the connectivity and the network. And like, I still feel like I'm a part of that family, even though I personally didn't pledge, for sure. And that's why I love it. And I think it's a beautiful thing,
Yeah, I will say going to A&T, like, I don't like, they say Aggie Pride, and they say Aggie Pride worldwide. And when I tell you, like, that is, I mean, I live in the Midwest right now, and there's Aggies out here who contact me to this day, like, you good? You like, how are you doing? And it's just like even if I wouldn't have pledged a fraternity, like I still feel like I would be engulfed in my school, because it's just that Black community, man, it's strong.
It's strong. And it's strong with Spellhouse too. Like I run into Morehouse and Spelman brothers that like Morehouse and Spelman alum in every city, and that network is deep, like and it's strong, especially like a lot of people that like even people who are actors and like seeing us do the things that we're doing. Like I have so many Spelman sisters that I absolutely respect who are working and doing beautiful things right now, and like we're tight. Like we don't see each other all the time, but like we're each other's cheerleaders and everything, and just like mentorship and all of that stuff, like backwards and forward, I feel like has continued since graduating, for sure.
Yeah, you guys definitely have a huge national presence as well. To be such a small school, you guys have huge backing from, and that's been for years back. BET, like when BET was popping and all of that, like like you guys were the HBCUs, like.
Absolutely, we still are.
Yeah, you guys still are.
We still,
But I feel like now, I mean, especially with the Black Lives Matter movement, we're starting to learn more about other HBCUs up and down the East
East Coast. Which I think is so great.
Yep. So it's amazing. It is amazing.
It is.
Yeah.
But you were gonna tell me about you and like this series.
Yeah.
that you interview a lot of different kinds of people, and also being a CBS affiliate and a host. I just would love to know more about you.
Yeah, so I'm originally from North Carolina. Um, I don't know if you've been there before.
Yeah, I'm pretty familiar with North Carolina. I have a lot of friends from there. My partner's from there, so I've been in North Carolina. Where are you from?
Okay, and where's he from?
He lived in Durham, and he's also lived in Raleigh. A little
I
bit of
knew
both.
you were gonna. I knew you were either gonna say either Greensboro, Durham, or Raleigh. I live literally
Yeah.
like 15 minutes from Durham.
Oh,
But
word. Okay.
yep.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm from North Carolina. Went to North Carolina A&T State University, where there I played football.
Okay.
I was standout player there. Actually, ended up going to play in the Canadian Football League up in Canada. I got hurt and actually moved back in with my parents and was like trying to figure myself out. I always wanted to be on TV and things like that, but never really knew the route for it. Like you mentioned, you were engulfed in acting. I was engulfed in football. And so school and studying and all of that just wasn't, we used to always say school first, football second. So,
Oh yeah, it should be. School first. I got that.
Our coach used to always say that, but yeah, that's just my journey. And so when I got hurt in the CFL, it was like I had fulfilled my dreams of playing collegiately, playing professionally, and it was time to venture off. And so I went home and started to apply to different TV stations. I was like applying like 100 times a day.
Oh, that's great.
It was crazy. But I ended up landing a job here in North Dakota as a CBS affiliate TV host and journalist. And so
amazing.
Yeah, definitely. And so I made my own little thing, and
yeah.
what I have now is called Who's That Guest, where my network is kind of, with social media, you can contact anyone. And so
so true.
So yeah, I just kind of plugged in like that and just built my own platform, and that's where I'm at now. So
I love that. That's really, really great. And you talked about that 100 applications a day. I tell you, ain't nobody understanding like an actor, man.
Listen, I will say
oh man,
I would say like YouTubers, actresses, actors, and like music artists, y'all's lives are solely on, why would it, not even just that small list, just what, I can't think of the word.
We're
like,
always looking for jobs.
You got it. Like, if you guys don't work for yourself, then I mean,
it don't happen.
It doesn't happen. And so I commend you and everyone else, because it's a grind.
It's a grind. I respect the grind, and I respect like finding peace. And that's what I'm like working on, like having a self-care regimen around myself, even as I go through really intense periods. Because right now is like pilot season, or traditional pilot season. There's all these streaming networks, pilot seasons all the time, because everybody's coming up with stuff all the time. But like, it can get very busy, and you're like, oh, everyone needs an audition tomorrow. you gave me these 10 pages to do today. And it's like, okay, how do I just getting into a flow of just like finding joy and being like in that intense place where you're sending out so much stuff into the ether and like hoping something comes back. That's like the place that I'm in right now. And so I'm really kind of just resonating with that and just enjoying that and surprising myself, in that. And so I respect that. When you're in that place where you're like, I got to get the next thing, and you're just going to put a lot out in the universe so that something right can come back to you, is just, I commend that process,
Yeah, the Golden Globe Awards just happened.
Yes, it did.
Is that one of your goals in life, or is it something that you just don't think about right now?
It's so funny. We just talked about that, because there's 3 of us who live here, and all of us are actors. And we're like, do we care about these award shows? because so much of it is garbage. Like, there's such good shows that get completely snubbed, that we're like, how did you miss I May Destroy You by Michaela Cole? How did she not get nominated for nothing? Like, I don't get it. So part of me is like, we would all love that acknowledgement and recognition, but we also know that if I watch myself and I'm happy with it, and if the people are happy with it, because that's, I think, something similar that's happening with Snowfall, right? Like, this show's been out since 2017, but there are a lot of new audience members over the course of the pandemic have just binge watched it. And now there was like an article that said Snowfall is becoming can't miss TV. And we're like, this show has been good.
Yeah, it's been good.
You know what I mean? But it's kind of flown under the radar because it's a very, it's a very crowded market. There's so many things to watch, And so it's kind of like, this show, I believe, is award worthy. And I think there's award worthy people who are working on it. And so I realized that the awards don't matter because the work is still phenomenal. And I'm kind of like, if we get awards this year, people who deserve them get them, great. And if they don't, their work is still phenomenal, Yep. And the people who watch Snowfall know Snowfall is authentic and ride for Snowfall, And that's what's more important.
I'm glad Snowfall is getting the attention that it deserves. But have you ever heard a song or watched something or picked up something and people weren't really rocking with it, and now all of a sudden everybody's rocking with it, and you're like, I've been rocking with it. Like, where have y'all been?
This whole time.
Yeah, and so it kind of bothers you, but at the same, so when my friend, like I said, a year ago, tried to put me onto it, I finally hopped on board. And even a few months ago, like I said, when I first started watching it, I felt like nobody was really in tune with it still. And so now season 4 came out, all these people came out of the woodworks, and so it's just like,
exactly. It's like, this has been excellent for a long time.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. I think it happens to actors a lot too, where they're like this overnight sensation. So-and-so came out overnight as star from yesterday to today. And it's like,
that's the headline.
Whenever somebody is a breakout star, you go on their IMDb, you see at least 10 years of work. At least.
I am always, when I do these interviews, I like to do a lot of, searching, just doing research.
Yeah.
And, you'll see people like these overnight sensations.
Absolutely.
You'll look back at the work they did and you'll be like, what? They were in that show? They were
and that one and that one and that one.
I've been watching them this whole time and didn't even see them in the background, or as a fill-in or whatever. And so it's never an overnight sensation, but that's just what the headlines gets. And
they like to say that, but it's like, you got to have respect for all the work up to that point. It's also like, dang, I've been good, but y'all now know I'm good. So cool. I'm happy to be acknowledged, but I've been doing it. You know what I mean? So it's just, that's just the game. And so it's kind of like, I'm blessed, I think, coming out and getting to do a show like this, timeline wise, coming out of graduate school, you do your 3 years of training and then you do a showcase where you hopefully get an agent and a manager and all that good stuff. And then hopefully work will happen. And, in my mind, I was like, TV is really difficult to get into. I think the market is changing because everyone is making television. So I think it's a lot more democratic than it was in the 90s or early 2000s even. But I didn't expect, a couple years out of graduate school to be in a position to be working on a show of this caliber. That's how I see myself. But it's nice to have that reflected with opportunity because there's so many brilliant actors who don't have opportunities that meet them yet or that about, So I'm really, really blessed and grateful for that, truly, to be, getting the train started.
Definitely. Ooh,
you know what I mean?
I'm still young in this business. And so I'm excited to see where things continue to go.
Absolutely. I'm excited for you too.
Definitely. I appreciate that. I have a couple of things in the works that I don't want to speak out into the world, but, definitely been praying on it. Things are moving in the right direction. I just don't want to jinx it,
I feel that.
But
you share when you're ready, for sure.
Definitely. But what's next for Adrianna before we wrap up here?
What's next for me? As we talked earlier, I'm in the middle of the grind. So I'm looking for the next wonderful opportunity to continue to hone my craft, for sure. I just finished an episode of Bull on CBS and I got to play an assistant district attorney. So that'll be coming out soon. And that was a real challenge. Lots of lawyer jargon. I'm also working on producing a podcast called Don't Act Broke. Slowly learning about sound engineering and all that stuff, which is taking some time.
What's that
but
about?
The content of it, Don't Act Broke. the content of it is really about empowering Black actors and artists and entrepreneurs to be clear about our worth as professionals. Because I think a lot about the industry kind of is like, you should just be grateful to be here. Like, we gave you this job, it's competitive, we chose you, so you should say yes to everything that we're giving you. And I think learning as you build leverage, because everybody got to put their 10,000 hours in, sometimes you got to work for free, you got to do that, you know, but I'm in a place where I'm just now contemplating what we accept and why do we accept it, and how can we be more business minded around our careers. And you do hire a team to help you do that, of course. So I think part of your business is hiring a manager or an agent or a lawyer or all of these different service providers who help build out what you're, you know, helped you build your career. But also I feel like I'm so interested in knowing like little things like taxes for actors are insane, because can you imagine like getting taxed for every little job you do? I work for CBS for 3 days. They tax me as if I worked there all year because I'm on a W-2 for CBS, and then I'm on a W-2 for ABC, or I'm a W-2. But I'm an independent contractor essentially. Right. So, you know, so kind of navigating all these things that I'm learning that people don't really talk about is kind of what I want the podcast to be about. Like, I love to talk about process and creative things, but I think there's so little about the being business ready for this industry so that you can do it for the rest of your life and not be like moving from paycheck to paycheck, is kind of what I want to learn more about myself, and also share and explore and like interview people like you're doing. Definitely. So that's in the works. I want to ask. It's been very busy, so we'll get to it when we get to it.
I want to ask you really quick, and you don't have to answer it if it's. And I hate talking about this, but I want to ask, how much is a paycheck with Snowfall?
Oh, I can't tell you. I mean, it's good. You know what I mean? And it's, I think there are different tiers of how actors are paid, right? You have series regulars. And when you're a series regular on a show, they're paying to hold your time, which means you cannot be on another show when you're the lead of this show. So you're basically telling me I can't get money any other kind of way. So you have to hold me and pay. So series regulars get paid well because you're paying me to essentially satisfy my needs. I don't need to go look for other work. Right. Now, someone like me, who's like a guest star, recurring guest star, you're getting like top of show, which is like, you know, SAG-AFTRA really works it out with the union about what is standard for a guest star to make. And then you can negotiate above or below, you know, not below, you would never negotiate less. Negotiate above that if you have the leverage to do so. And then you have co-stars, and you have like backgrounds. So there's a hierarchy in terms of pay, but like that where the baselines are. And then I think, you know, depending on who you are as an actor, what you can garner, what your quote is, all of that stuff. Definitely. So yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about that until you mentioned getting taxed and things like that. And I was like, yeah. I mean, even if you are, like you said, that like Franklin Saint, you know, who is stuck in that position unless something bigger just comes. But you know, how much everyone gets paid just from
it's a lot. You really, because then it makes you think about what you need to ask for, because what ends up coming at the other end of it after taxes, after commission, like, is this doable? Mm-hmm. And I think specifically for theater, it's just not sustainable for me to be working, because in rehearsals, you'll work for 6 days. You'll rehearse Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You get 1 day off. And then the week of the show opening, you do 10 out of 12 hours every day. And then you open the show. And then once the show opens, you're doing 8 shows a week. And so that means you're working every single day of the week. And for that kind of work, because it's a joy, but it's work. It's like grueling work. Like, you're running around, you're doing stuff, you're on stage, you're using your voice, you know, all that stuff. For me to be taking home, you know, ungodly amounts of money that don't make no sense. Like, I remember being somewhere and they were covering my housing. So I was like, all right, you cover my housing, is cool. But it came down to like some $300 a week. I said, this is a joke. And I know I'm getting started and, you know, I'm a student or I'm whatever, but this is a joke. Like, This is a joke. Like, this is not right. But and I don't know that's going to change necessarily today, because theaters are always like hardly, they're always trying to make up the difference in because making theaters expensive. But I just feel like actors should just really be thinking about what they want to do. Yeah. And if you want to do the play and you're aware and clear about what you're getting, and you can ask questions and then get to a point where you're like, okay, I'm prepared to do this play or do this reading or do this show, and I'm aware of what I'm getting or not getting, or ask for what you need. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of where I'm at. And that's where I want to kind of, people go to school and they learn, they train how to, be a really good actor. But then it's like, there's so many business items that you need to address so that you can continue to do this and live well. I want to live well. Period.
Yeah, we all do. And I think that's why we love the craft that we do in this TV, media, movie world. But, at the end of the day, we do it because, like I said, we love it. And I keep stressing we love it because it's not always about the money, but there's a big reward in it. It's a big reward that can come with it. And so I think back on Ice Cube Friday.
Yes.
They all got paid, I think, $3,000 or something, like $5,000, if that. Like when they made Friday, everybody was making like, I think $3,000 for, like, that's what you made.
That was their rate for the movie.
For everything. And so yeah, a lot of them, either didn't come back or like I can't think of his name. With Jesus Christ, I'm losing my mind right now.
It's all good.
But but yeah, people, they branch off and go to bigger things. But I feel like starting, yeah, for sure. But I feel like starting, you have to make that chump change, and then
you gotta make the chump change. You gotta work for free. You gotta do all that stuff. But then it's like, once you feel confident in your skills, you ask for what you're worth. And then also, you have to have leverage. People have to know that you're worth it because they've seen you in something, and whatever else. And that's a game too. But it's also like, no, I don't think I want to do that for $300. I'm sorry. I think my skill set is worth more than that.
Definitely.
And either they'll meet you because they want you, or they don't. And then that's the other part about like entrepreneurial work, is having faith that the right thing will be there, and like being able to say no. I think actors are so afraid to say no because we're like, I'm just happy that out of the hundreds of people you saw, you were interested in me. And like, it's like, no, I mean, yes, but no, like you should ask for what you need. And I had that experience like working with Snowfall. They took such good care of me, but that's because I asked, you know what I mean?
Definitely.
So, yeah, those are my, if we leave with nothing, that's what I want to let everybody know. Ask for what you need. That's it.
Negotiate. But yes, Adrianna, I appreciate you so much for your time today. It has been an honor.
Thank you.
Definitely have to get you back on here at the end of the year with what we talked about.
I hope so. Have things complete to share with you. Yes, please. It's been an honor to talk to you. Thank you so much for reaching out. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, we will see you, and best of luck to you. And we're excited to finish season 4.
All right. You'll see me on season 4. I'll talk to you soon, Malik. Thank you so much.
I'll see you.
Enjoy your Sunday.
You too.
All right. Bye.